Hey everybody, welcome to Sunday Stories with Coach Mike Young. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. If you got something out of it, please leave a comment. I was in the hospital for 7 months, just about, waiting for a transplant and then after my transplant. So I'll be sharing stories from that time period. Mostly, I'll probably get into some other stuff later. But at first, all the first stories are all going to be from my time at Children's Hospital when I was about 14 years old, waiting for a heart transplant. Okay? So today, I'm going to be sharing a story about when my heart surgeon came in and told me I have to start going to hospital school. And more importantly, I have to start taking this serious because this is your life. Your life's on the line. And if you're not going to take it serious, who is? Okay, so what happened was, this happened about a month into me being at Children's Hospital. When I first got there, I was in the hospital for about 10 days at Glendale, Venice, and they transferred me with an ambulance to Children's Hospital. And I honestly, at the time, I couldn't realize why I couldn't just drive there. But I didn't realize how sick I was. So, like, I didn't realize why my parents couldn't just drive me to the hospital myself. But they took me in an ambulance, and that's a whole nother story I'll talk about another day. But so for that first month, I was staying up late. I would sleep in all day, and I would stay up late, and I would talk on the phone with people, and more importantly, I would stay up and talk to the nurses. There's a lot of nurses there because I was in the 2 West ICU, Children's Hospital, and this is back in I think it was 1995, 96. I'm so bad with the years back then, but it's 25 years ago. I would stay up and I would just talk to the nurses, and a lot of the nurses were new to Los Angeles. Some were from Los Angeles. And, I was, just finished junior high. When I got sick, I just started high school. I was about a month into high school when I went into the hospital. So I would just stay up. I would stay up late, and I would sleep in all day. I really didn't see a reason why I needed to get up and do stuff. I mean, I was dying, in my head, and while I was dying, I wasn't doing good. And what was a big deal if I was just slept and stayed up late? But this one day, my heart surgeon came in, and his name is Dr. Von Starnes, an amazing man. He came in, and he was like, from what I heard, that day or sometime around there, he chewed out the nursing staff, and he got real mad at them because I was staying up. And I wasn't going to sleep, and when you're in the ICU, they track everything you're doing, so they're like, yeah, he went to sleep around this time, he did this is what he's doing. And then he came in, I'll never forget, he came in that day, and he got mad at me, and he basically told me, like, why aren't you taking this serious? It's important that you get on a schedule, that you do all these things, that you got to do your part while we do our part. And he was somebody I respect immensely to this day. He's an amazing man. He did 4 of my major heart surgeries, and my heart transplant, and a few other ones. And it was that that kick in the ass I needed to really take it a lot more serious. And it wasn't that I wasn't taking it serious. It was hard to understand at that age what was really going on, and I was just I didn't see a need to really get up early and go to sleep early, because I was in the hospital. It was boring in the hospital. I mean, one of the biggest things I remember for the longest time at the hospital was watching all my children. But Dr. Starnes is one of the top heart surgeons in the country. It's funny, I seen him about about a year and a half ago, a year, something like that. I seen him at USC. He's the head of Children's Hospital, I think, cardiac surgery, and the USC also, from what I believe, or he used to be. I'm not exactly sure what his exact title is right now, but he's the man. And I saw him in the elevator, and I wanted to talk to him, but I didn't want to bother him either. Through the years, I've seen him a lot, and we've communicated. I'm really I stayed on good terms with a lot of people at Children's Hospital. I'll post a picture. The picture I'll post is from a couple years ago, where I spoke at an event at Children's Hospital. I was sharing my story, and he came down and we took some pictures, and some of the other, my old transplant coordinator, Monica, one of the other hearts cardiologists, and a lot of the team there, they're amazing. They're just amazing group of people. But going back to hospital school, so when he came down and told me that, it was one of those things that it changed. Everything changed after that day. They put me on a schedule, like of how my week was going to be. And then it became like, okay, you're going to go to hospital school, you're going to do physical therapy, you're going to see all these people. It was just, everything was, we're not messing around anymore. We're doing and they weren't messing around, but it was still early on. And I mean, I don't remember everything, but after that, I remember a lot of things changed. I kept some of the stuff, so I actually have this is like a scrapbook I kept. This is a list of how my schedule was. So here it is. If you could see it. 8:30 a.m. I woke up. 9 was breakfast up in the chair. 9:30 was I'd take a walk. 10 o'clock, and I would walk around the unit, and I'd walk around the floors. One of the nurses would take me, and I remember I would never forget like what the walk was like. And then every now and then we'll go to different floors. But I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital or anything. Then I would take clean up. At 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I went to school. 12 o'clock, I rested. 12:30 was lunch. 2 o'clock, exercise bike, PT. I had to do physical therapy. 3 o'clock was rest. 4 o'clock was another walk. 6 o'clock was dinner. 8 o'clock was another walk and homework. 9 o'clock through 10 was TV entertainment. That was my schedule for Monday through Friday. I'm really glad I kept that. And then I also have my physical therapy log, which is interesting. I'll share a picture too. And it's funny because it starts on 125. I don't remember if that was just a new one that we started, but it went through 125 to 38. And 38 is basically 3 days before my heart transplant. So that was pretty interesting. But during this time, I remember I had 3 other surgeries. So that's why there's really not a lot of lines, but they would always have me doing stuff. And it was just a lot of it was, let's see, endurance, stretching, strengthening. Let's see, like things that are on here are it's the exercise log, and it just shows the dates, and it shows what I did those days. I'll take a picture and send it and share it. But it's like bike, walking, hamstring, let's see, hip, calves, chest, neck, hips, knees, extensions, all these things. But that's what they would have me do. At the time when the surgeon came in and told me what was going on, I didn't it didn't make like complete sense why, I was already stuck in the hospital. I was so sick. Why should I go to hospital school? Why should I have to go to school in the hospital? But it was a, a blessing. It was such a good thing that happened because of that, those credits transferred to my, because he was like an LA Unified teacher, because he was at Children's Hospital LA, and I went to LA Unified School District. So I was able to take 4 classes that during that time, and it helped keep me on track with with school when I went back. So that year, I was in the hospital for about 7 months. When I went back home, they had me go to homeschool, and then during the summer I had like summer school, but it was all at home. And then the next year when I started 10th grade, I was able to go to the regular high school, and then I went to Eagle Rock, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and I graduated on time with everything. I was always a few credits behind, but I ended up catching up, and it worked out. When I started high school, was right when I started high school, I was going to Bell Jeff in Burbank as a private school, and but I was so sick, I was barely going. I only went a couple times. Within that, it was like a month, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're kind of scared because you don't want to go to high school, blah blah." Like, they didn't realize what was happening. When you're in a Latino family, Mexican, Ecuadorian, everything. Like, I had so many home remedies, all these things that, oh, do this, do that. But again, I'll talk about that in another story. But it was just such a blessing that they made me go to hospital school, and they put me on a schedule. It was so good that Dr. Starnes came in, and he kicked my butt. He put me, he made me realize how important being on top of things are, and being disciplined, and it helped me tremendously at that time. And so again, going to school while you were in the hospital, fighting for your life, waiting for a heart transplant, it's surprisingly, it's one of the best things. I'll never forget when that changed, for me. Like when because before that, again, I was staying up late, I was doing whatever I wanted. They wouldn't, and after that, everything, changed, and he made everybody take it more serious, and let's get to work, as in put myself in the best possibility for recovery. And it's one of those things where if they weren't thinking proactive, I would have been behind. And again, they're thinking that, hey, we're gonna save his life, he's gonna go back and live a normal life, and we need to give him all the opportunity to stay on that path. So they were thinking, they amazing people, one of the best hospitals in my opinion, and they were thinking way far ahead than I was. And it something it's great, and I can only imagine how all these other stories that other people probably have that have gone through similar experiences, so again, going to hospital school, it's the funniest thing is it's probably something that I didn't want to do at the time, but it was amazing. And I think it shows you, like, when you start taking things seriously, and really man up, and start using the schedule. It's funny how they talk about it. Like I don't even, I read a lot of personal development books. I read a lot of books, and one of the things is getting on schedule, doing all these things, and I forget at times also how that helped save my life 25 years ago. Yeah, so thank you for listening. Anybody have any comments or anything, anybody that could relate to that, please leave a comment, and look forward to next week's. Hopefully this one comes out on Sunday, but it might come out on Monday because we're gonna do some stuff to make it look nicer for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.